Hey guys, this video is going to focus on how to graph a linear equation when you're given a point and a slope. So we're going to be talking about 4 different examples today. So let's go ahead and jump straight into example A. So for example A, we're given a point and we're given a slope. And as long as you have a point and a slope, you can graph any line. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on drawing my graph right over here. And as I'm doing that, so when it does come to graphing, when you're given a point and a slope, always start by plotting your point first. If you're given a point, you know for sure that that point lies on your graph. Start by plotting that point. So the point that I'm given is 0, 6. Remember that the first number is your x value, the second number is your y value every time. So this is the point 0, negative 6. So start at your origin, smack in the middle here. So that 0 represents how much I move left or right in the x direction. And since that says a 0, I do not move left or right. Otherwise, I move on to the 6, and I have a positive 6. So that means I'm going to go straight up 6, and I'm going to plot my point. From that point, I need to take a look at my slope, and my slope is a negative 5. It is always best to take a look at slope in reference of a fraction, because slope represents rise over run. The numerator represents how much you move up or down. The denominator represents how much you move left or right. So a negative 5 over 1 slope means that I'm going to go up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1 all day long. Also keep in mind the direction of slope. A positive slope goes this direction. I like to think about a flight of stairs. Looking at this from left to right, I would be climbing up the stairs. So that's a positive slope. A negative slope, then looking from left to right, you're going downstairs. So because I have a negative slope, that means I'm going to be following this general negative direction. So it's going to be kind of going this way here. And since I'm kind of running out of space going up, so you can either go up 5 to the left 1, or you can go down 5 to the right 1. That would represent the same thing. Up or down 5 over 1, up or down 5 over 1, as long as you are following that negative direction. Otherwise, connect the dots and you're done with your graph. This is what this graph would look like when all we're given here is a point and a slope to work with. So then let's take a look at our second example here. So our second example gives us the point 3, 0, and that we have a slope of a positive 2/3. So I'm going to start by plotting my point first. So that means I'm going a positive 3 in the x direction, and I'm not going anywhere in the y direction. So starting at my origin, so a positive 3, that means to the right 3, and a 0 in the y direction means I'm staying put there. From that point, I need to take a look at my slope, and my slope is a positive 2/3. So remember, this means I need to be climbing upstairs. So that means up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. So from this point, up 2 over 3. Or you can also go down 2 over 3. It represents the same thing as long as it's following that positive direction. Otherwise, connect the dots and you have your line. So let's go ahead and take a look at example C and D together. Example C and D represent some special cases when it comes to graphing. And we have to know this going into the problem. Now, we have 2 special cases when it comes to graphing a line. We have our vertical and our horizontal lines. And depending if you have a vertical or a horizontal line is going to determine what kind of slope you have. So just a little background about it. So if you have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. Our other special case is when you have a straight horizontal line like this, and that slope is 0. And you have to know that in order to do these problems here. So if I'm taking a look at example C, let's start by plotting that point, negative 2, negative 1. So from my origin, I'm going to go to the left 2, and I'm going to go down 1 and plot my point. Otherwise, I see that the slope is undefined. And because the slope is undefined, that needs to trigger something in my head saying that, hey, the type of graphs that have undefined slopes, those are those vertical lines. So literally all you have to do to graph it is draw a vertical line at this point. The graphing is actually quite easier, in my opinion, than some of the other graphing that you can do, but you do need to remember what kind of line this is. Taking a look at example D, we're told that the slope is 0. And if the slope is 0, that represents a horizontal line. Otherwise, starting by plotting that point is a 1, negative 2. So from the origin, I go to the right 1 and I go down 2. The fact that I have a 0 slope, that is what tells me that this is one of the special cases, and it's the special case that has 0 slope, which means that it's a horizontal line. So otherwise, I draw a horizontal line that cuts through this point. So otherwise, if you're given a point and actually a number for the slope, negative 5 over 1, 2/3, it really could be anything. As long as it's not 0 or undefined, you're talking about a diagonal line. But if you're given an undefined or a 0 slope, you need to know that that's one of the special cases and be able to tell the difference between the two. Otherwise, that's it for this video.